And Joe Weisenthal's hand is on deck as well. He is the editor of BusinessInsider.com. He's still with us for another segment. Joe, in your latest report on the jobs report, you say a lot of folks are going to be booking it to the beach after the report, probably before the report. But if you stick around, you say we also should look out for consumer credit figures. Do you think we'll see a slowdown in shrinkage there?
Yeah, it's hard to, I'm not sure. That comes out in the afternoon, and if the past Fridays this summer have been any guide, there's not going to be anyone around to actually see it. But it is an interesting thing to watch, and the question of when the consumer comes back is obviously a crucial one to when the economy gets more robust again. And month after month, this number has continued to shrink, the amount of consumer credit out there. Only the government, not surprisingly, seems to be upping its holdings of consumer credit, but banks and credit unions and just about everyone else just keep pushing back on that. And so that'll be interesting to watch when that comes out this afternoon.
Yeah, and Joe, it sort of brings us on to the fear that is gripping people about the US is how much of a deflationary threat we're actually facing there. But bearing in mind, of course, that this is the great subject for Mr. Bernanke that he studied here, right. And they'll do whatever necessary to avoid it. When do the markets switch around and actually put that fear to one side, do you think?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's especially interesting because before Bernanke was the chief of the Federal Reserve, it seemed he had basically devoted his career and much of his interest to this question of fighting deflation. So now, in a way that's perfect because he's ostensibly the expert on it, and now this is a very serious issue that we're facing. And in recent weeks, the word Japan has constantly come up. And now the ironic thing is that people think Bernanke's been too slow, that his rhetoric hasn't shifted to acknowledge the deflationary threat fast enough, that he hasn't ramped up the quantitative easing quick enough. So it's actually kind of interesting that the foremost expert on this subject is now seen as kind of perhaps behind.
Joe, got to cut you off. Sorry, buddy. We're going to have to leave it there because we're out of time. That's going to do it for the program. I'm Nicole Lafkin in the United States, along with Ross Westgate and Christine Kahn. Thanks so much for your company.